Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. Before we begin, just want to remind you to follow us wherever you listen so you don't miss any episodes or bonus content. If you love what we do and want an easy way to show your support, please consider leaving us a positive, all the stars rating on your favorite listening platform. It helps SPN and fanfic lovers find us and share in the fun. I'm Sandra.
I'm Kasey, and it's been a minute, y'all, hadn't it, though? Hadn't it been a minute? We are back with another episode of Fact versus Fiction, but this time we brought a friend. Guest
I have
host.
a vagina.
Fucking spat take all over myself. Fucking hell.
Is that like a Leo Pleurodon thing that you're going for right there? As I'm trying to think of it.
It's a magical vagina. It's going to show us the way.
There was a pause. I thought that was my intro.
It is. It was.
That was fucking great. We're not doing that again.
No, no.
My God.
I like that. That was good. No, there's nothing to be sorry about. It sounded like a Leo Pleurodon from everything you guys have been telling me. So I'm like, okay, I think that's what they're going for. Yay. Dreamers with us, everybody.
It's magical vagina. It's going to show us the way.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my God.
Oh, my word.
We brought a friend. The wonderful runaway dreamer, bestie, beta, an honorary vagina owner. And I feel the need to clarify that. Sandra is also a cis woman, but Sandra is standing in for the audience in these episodes.
I usually do, yes.
So, unfortunately, if I am educating her, I can't also be like, hey, yo, you need to educate me as well. So I brought a buddy.
Yeah. I'm a good buddy.
You
I
are the
don't interrupt
bestest.
podcasts with inappropriate exclamations.
That was fucking great. That was hilarious. Alrighty, welcome back to part 2 of Fact versus Fiction Hygiene Edition. It was so long that we had to break it up into 2 parts. Ha 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 ha. There's a dirty joke in there somewhere. Don't at me, people. So if you haven't listened to part 1, there will be a link in the description. It obviously will come out before this episode, so you should probably go and listen to that one too. Because it contains many crucial hygiene facts and information that you need to know.
Yes.
But if you want to listen to this one first, it's in the wrong order, but I won't judge you. Not publicly, anyway.
Judging you.
You don't need to know. So, sit back, sit tight. Once again, myself and Dreamer are unsupervised recording this. Sandra, please help. We are not to be left unsupervised ever again. We require constant supervision. We are small children. But yes.
I'm an adult.
I'm not. Yes, settle in again for part 2. And we're going to educate you a little bit more about how to take care of your bits. So,
be kind to your bots.
We have arrived at the, the focal point. So, anal hygiene. We'll start off with some basic stuff. And we have touched on this. When you're washing in the shower, wash between your cheeks, your fingers should touch your butthole. It's not gay. That won't turn you gay. The gay agenda is busy turning the frogs and whales gay. We're not turning normal men who are cleaning their ass in the shower gay, all right? We had a meeting about it, and we said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to focus on the frogs, okay? Wash your butt in between your cheeks. Yes. Contact with your butthole. It's not gay. It's just normal cleanliness.
At the very
hygiene.
least, it's going to make it easier to wash your underwear.
Yeah, if for no one else...
You don't need the swamp ass.
If for nobody else than your poor washing machine, it's been through some shit. It's seen some shit. Give it a break, y'all. It's just for your, just for you. You deserve to feel good in your body, right?
Yes.
You deserve to feel clean. Clean your butt.
Don't be ashamed of your own body. In all seriousness. I mean, if anything was going to turn you gay, it would be playing with your own dick, right? Just relax.
Yeah. Exactly. So, exactly.
And at that point, to be honest, I have seen on the internet some people say, I don't know if that's just an extreme joke or something, but geez. Cannot even
Yeah,
imagine.
no, he's definitely not getting quoted on this podcast, so absolutely not. If you don't know who we're mentioning...
I don't know if that was a reference, yeah.
Yeah, no, if you don't know who we're mentioning,
literally.
live in ignorance, because I unfortunately do.
Okay.
But I'm going to hand back over to Dreamer, because there are words in this next section that give me squick. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. Thanks.
All right.
And also, you wrote this bit. It's your bit.
I did. Because I am / only, basically. So I've read a lot of anal sex. I've written a lot of anal sex. The first point I would make, just the general point, is if you're not prepared for the possibility of poop, you probably just want to stay away from the butt. Like, if it's going to be just a constant squick for you, if it's not something you can get over, if even, jumping in the shower afterwards, or, washing your hands thoroughly, if that's not going to do it for you, it's not something you have to do anyway. So just don't.
Mm-hmm.
But
consent
if you want to go there, sorry.
Consent is sexy. Nobody should be forcing you, and you should not be forcing anybody to do anything. But, for this particular instance, anything to do with anal, if you're not into it, don't try and force your partner into it. Just leave it alone. Like, it's totally fine.
And can I just say, like, statistically, there are a lot of gay men who never engage in anal sex. Like, it's just not a part of their sexual repertoire, ever.
Sex does not have to be penetrative to count.
No, exactly. They engage in oral, hand jobs, that sort of thing. They never have anal sex, whether it's receiving or what's the other word?
Giving.
Yeah, giving or receiving.
Pitching or catching.
So yeah, and that's totally fine. Yeah.
Yep.
The mailbox or the letter, the postie. But yeah, if you're going to, just be chill about the fact that, keep it somewhere that, you can either do it in the shower, or just be somewhere where there will be a shower and some soap, and you can just clean up afterwards. Just be cool.
Toss down the dark towels. It's totally fine.
Exactly. Yes. Or keep some bleach on hand if you don't have any dark tools.
Yes.
Dark towels. Excuse me.
Yes. The bleach is for the towels only, not you.
Yes. I was going to say, exactly. We need to clarify.
Oh, we probably do at this point, yeah.
Yeah. Let's err on the side of caution.
Okay, so small anatomy lesson. The butt goes starting from the anus, which is the muscle and the opening of the butt.
So we're starting from the outside in.
Yeah, starting from the outside in. The anus, and then the rectum, which is where your fingers or your penis are going to go if you're engaging in that.
That's also where your prostate lives if you are assigned male at birth.
Well, it's not inside the rectum, but that's where you access it. Through. Yeah. It can be stimulated through the wall of the rectum.
Yes. Or your taint.
So yes, true. And if you do both at the same time, apparently it's magic.
If you don't know what a taint is, that's your perineum. That's that strip of skin between your balls and your asshole.
There you go.
Assigned female at birth people also have a perineum.
But it's much shorter.
It's much shorter. And also, unfortunately, we don't have anything fun like a prostate to play with, but we do have a perineum. Sorry, carry on.
We do have clitorises, which apparently, which we now know are fucking huge, and aren't just the little cluster of nerves. Anyway, getting off track.
I didn't know.
Yes, it was a good episode. So the rectum is about 5 to 6 inches long. I think the conversion of that is like 15 or so centimeters. And then you have the colon, which sort of turns at a right angle almost. So if you've got a penis going on, or a toy or something that is longer than that, you are going to have some discomfort, or a
some
little
people
bit of a
are into that
struggle.
though.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, certainly. Pro tip: bearing down. As you have, if you read fic, you have probably come across that description or instruction as a way to make it more comfortable. Bearing down actually helps to straighten the colon to be more in line with the rectum, which can help making that deeper penetration easier. So small bio lesson there. Now, poop hangs out in the colon, which is again that right angle area until it's telling you, okay, we need to go to the toilet, and then it moves into the rectum and then comes out of the anus, obviously. Depending on your diet, how much fiber you intake, whether you've got medical conditions, say IBS or something like that, whether you, have a lot of unhealthy food going on, there may be remnants of your bowel movement staying in the rectum, which is what, generally speaking, you would want to clean out if you were engaging in, just putting fingers up there or toys up there or penis up there. If you've got a really good diet and, good fiber going on, it's totally possible that there is nothing going on in there, and you don't need to do like an enema clean out or anything like that. Just give your butthole a wash, get your fingers a little bit in there, and you're good to go. That moves on to the next point, which is an enema, which is one of the ways you can clean. Feel free to jump in at any point, guys. I feel like I'm just giving a super boring lecture.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. I will hop in at this point and say that just on the hopping back to, some people are into, like deep anal penetration, which does, involve the colon, which is also called the large intestine. So it is that bit that when you look at the anatomy, and the small intestine is all the twisty wiggly bit, the large intestine is that bit that has the right angle at the end. So it joins the small intestine on the right side of your body, and then it sort of goes transverse across your abdomen and turns that right angle to then go down and join to your rectum and your anus, and that's how that works. So if you there are two different types of enema, but there is enemas that are designed just to clean the rectum. But there are also, you can also do enemas that clean out sort of part of the colon as well. If you are going to be doing any sort of deep anal play, or you really want to use larger toys, or even if the person that you're hooking up with, the penis owner that you're going to have sex with, has a larger than average penis, you might want to do that just to feel more comfortable for yourself. And certainly we've all been on Reddit and seen people putting their arms up there and things like that. And you're definitely going to need a bit of a deeper clean if you're going to do
some of us are lucky enough to have friends like Kasey who will share those things with you.
It was to her out. I'm sorry.
I know, it was incredible.
I'm like, honestly, I was glad. Skill.
I wasn't complaining.
If I could do that, I'd show fucking everybody. I would show everybody. I'd be like, look how far up my ass I can put my own arm. To the elbow, people. That's a good foot of arm, right? I'd show everybody. I would show everybody. It would be my pie trick. I'd show everybody. I probably wouldn't.
The in-laws come over for lunch. Honey, look what I can do.
So can I ask, just back to the enema, it says plain water in a pinch. Should it be more like distilled water?
No, you want a saline solution is probably going to be the best bet, but tap water is fine. A lot of people just there are attachments you can get to go in your shower or the taps in your bath. Plain water is fine. Okay. That's not a problem, but there are, especially with like kits that you can buy.
It can, however, depend on the hardness of your water. Like if you've got water that's really strong in minerals and deposits and stuff like that, you probably want to get, if not necessarily distilled, but maybe some filtered water.
I was just thinking in terms of like, because I know like they have like, saline solutions like for like the nose and stuff, and even though they kind of say like distilled is usually better because you don't know what else is going on.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if you've got bad pipes, not a euphemism, actual pipes, water pipes are on your property or anything like that, they could have rust or lead or anything going on in them. And you can buy fleet enemas, I think is the American one that's quite common. They're simple, buy them, use them. They've got instructions on the box, that's fine.
Like a disposable kind of kit.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you're a pro at it, you can buy the tools from an online sex shop, anything like that. and they can be reused as long as you're cleaning them properly. But you can make a really easy saline solution at home. It's basically saline is salt and water. Just make sure you're getting the proportions right. Go to a trusted website. Do not mix in any other cleansers. Do not, for goodness sake, do not put bleach in. Do not put like dish soap in. You just don't need any of that stuff. You just want to basically you're flushing out. You're not trying to scrub your insides clean because your insides have protective barriers as well. You've got rectal mucus. It's not like the vagina where you're going to have
not a self-lubricating system.
That's right. But there is mucosal barrier.
Think like the inside of your nose. That kind of mucosal barrier.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing. And there is an epithelium, which is basically all over your insides. It's like a protective tissue on your innards, and that you want to kind of leave that there, which is why it's also why plain water too often is not the best idea. But it's also, why you do not want to use any harsh products.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want to use hot water. You don't even want to use cold water. You want to use really tepid room temperature water.
Is painful. It will make everything cramp up and you will not have a good time. Obviously, hot water runs the risk of burns, but cold water, don't think, I'll make it really cold because then I won't burn myself. No, things will, your guts will cramp up and you will not enjoy it. Don't.
And look, even that part of your body, the inside of your body is really sensitive. So even warm water is going to feel hot. Just cool, tepid room temperature water. You have go to slowly.
Yep.
Sorry, go on, Kasey.
No, I was just going to say, you have to bear in mind, it's specifically when we're talking about anal play, this is a part of your body that is not intended to have anything inserted into it. Obviously, you eat with your mouth, you insert things into your mouth. The vagina is designed to be penetrated for breeding, macing purposes. Sounds gross, but that evolutionarily
breeding is the wrong word.
That is what it's designed for evolutionarily. Like, it's fun and we all have a nice time. The anus is literally the direct opposite of that. That straight guy exit only joke. I know people
speaking,
I know people that have had that tattooed on their lower back. Like,
oh my gosh.
But biologically, evolutionary, that is what it's designed for. So you have to be much, much more careful with that part of your body. In terms of like, it's very sensitive to temperature. It's very, very sensitive to like cleansers,
rough play,
things like that, and rough play like as well.
It's prone to fissures and I say that FISSURES, not FISHES.
Not
fissures as in
fissures.
Micro tears and just tearing and anything like that, which is, and especially also with the damage to the epithelium, if you wash all that away or you damage that protective barrier, you do also increase your susceptibility to STI transfer. So that's another reason to be really careful with it. But also with, micro tears and anything like that, again, that's potential for bleeding, which is more susceptibility to STIs. So be really careful with that. And the thing is, even introducing the enema fluid too quickly can damage those internal things that you need to be careful with. So go slowly with the fluid. There are different methods of introducing the fluid. There's bulbs, there's bags, but there are also attachments you can get for your shower. So obviously with something like that, you want to be so careful that you don't have the tap up too high so that the water's flowing too fast.
Like high water pressure is not your friend here with this. You want to be very, very careful.
We don't want the bunker's high water pressure, the bunker's wonderful water pressure. In this case, we want we want slow and steady. And you really don't need much. I think like a cup of water is all that you really need, maybe a little less, depending on, again, like what Kasey was saying, how deep you want the cleansing to be. But, be really careful with that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, that is
the difference between, like let's say a standard enema that you would do for just anal sex or whatever. And, if you were going to do deep anal play, the difference is it's not in like what you would use, it's in how much you would use and how long you would hold that fluid for, because that's
right.
Should we explain what, like, how you would do an enema? Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, well, we're going to provide links. We've got a couple of links. That give step-by-step instructions or at least guidelines on how that's all done. Usually, I think the guidelines tend to say about 15 minutes if you can hold the fluid in that long, and then hop to the toilet. But
or
obviously,
if you're in the shower, then it's all going to be washed.
Depending on if you've gone to the toilet beforehand or if you need to actually go to the toilet with the enema, that sort of thing. Or if you buy a pre-made, like a fleet enema, it'll have its own instructions on there. Always follow the instructions, please. They are there to make sure you don't hurt yourself. And we really don't want that, especially because, like we said, hurting yourself can put you at higher risk for not only STIs, but, infection if you cut yourself, and another thing to keep in mind is always lubricate the nozzle of anything you're putting in there with an enema. Your best option is a soft silicone sort of nozzle, not a hard plastic one, if you are able to get your hands on something like that.
So don't use silicone lube. Don't use silicone lube with a soft silicone nozzle, though. That's not going to work out great for anybody.
On silicone. Yeah.
Water-based lube. Because it's just, you're not, it's not like a full anal insertion, which is not, water-based lube is not appropriate for. It's just,
you don't need to shove it like
tip.
fist deep. It's,
and it's worth bearing in mind as well, what goes in does have to come out. So if you are wanting just, to just clean your rectum, you're just going to have, I don't like to use the word normal, but quote unquote normal anal sex. If you dump a liter of water in there, that's going to move higher up into your colon. And it's like, then you're doing a deep clean, and that takes much longer. And what goes in, it will come out. It will not be absorbed by your body in any way. So,
no,
and it does take a little while for everything to come back out. So, more is not necessarily better in this case, dependent on the type of cleansing that you're trying to do.
Yeah. And you want to do, if you're going to use an enema, and I will say it is optional, like you should not be forced to use an enema. If someone is afraid of the poop, again, they don't deserve the butt. They should just be staying away from the butt if they're going to be shaming you about anything that your butt does naturally. Yeah, it's totally optional. You don't have to. If you want to, absolutely go ahead, just do it safely. But it's best done about an hour before you're going to have anal, because the fluid, all of the fluid can take some time to come out. Like there'll be an initial expulsion of fluid, but it can linger. I'll give you a TMI moment. I didn't realize that it could take about an hour. I was just sort of experimenting on my own. I wasn't doing it to prepare for a partner that I was expecting. But I thought, like, I went to the toilet afterwards, and then a little, like 5 or 10 minutes later, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go to the toilet again. Did I do something wrong? And I was like, how is this meant to work if I'm just going to be going to the toilet all night? And then, later I found out, it can take about an hour for it all to come out. And I was like, oh, okay, that explains that. But I also found out I'd used too much water. So it was a learning experience for me. I should have looked at more. What should have happened is that the kit I bought should have had more instructions, I feel, but it didn't.
Yes, I don't. If you bought a full kit, I feel like that's the fault of the kit. Yes.
Yeah, it was not great, but since then I have become more educated, and I would know that give yourself some time, don't freak out, just and it's I do
just try
recommend
and relax,
figuring out.
Odd thing to
before going into this sort of thing with a partner, if you want to be most comfortable with it, because it is a bit, and I mean, we're all a little bit embarrassed about poop, right? So even though we all do it, it's another one of those stupid things. But I mean, maybe people who have anal sex all the time are cooler about it. But,
probably more chill, probably more desensitized to it. But yeah, I think that stands true for most things that you would do sexually. Is try it out yourself first, because only you know what you like and what's comfortable and what works for you. The time to be learning to do an enema and how your body responds to it is probably not with a partner waiting in the next room
before you're planning to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
this isn't like having a quick dick rinse in the sink before getting a blowjob.
Yeah, this is just a bit more in depth. Ha 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 ha.
There is more planning, and that comes back to the fan fiction thing, right? It's we sanitize because
this is the most sanitized thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the anal sex in particular and the anal hygiene is absolutely glossed over and sanitized, because otherwise we've got to write all this, and that does not lend itself whatsoever to spontaneous sex or even like regular sex. This is a lot of work. And the thing about enemas is that it's not recommended to use them super frequently. It's like a couple of days a week, maybe, because again, you will wash away that rectal mucus and potentially damage the epithelium if you're using them too often, or not using the right fluids, or again, the temperature, the speed you're filling up with, all of that sort of thing. And it's recommended that you definitely don't use more than you don't have an enema more than once a day. And also you can just health-wise, your body can, it's like it loses the muscle memory of being able to expel waste naturally. Like it gets used to the enema.
Oh, really?
Being the way that waste is taken from the body. So it can cause issues with constipation and all sorts of things. So
you gotta be real careful with your butt, guys. Real fucking careful.
You do not want to make every bowel movement something that an enema takes care of.
Yes.
Just as an aside.
But just to bring it back to fic a little bit here, what I was saying earlier about like penis taste and smell and things, and you've got your two male partners and they've been putting something icky and they're covered in ick, and then they'll be like, oh, let's just have bareback sex here against this tree. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I've definitely touched on putting dirty things in places that you really shouldn't. Probably in the first FBF actually. About how cleanliness is real fucking important when you're putting stuff up your butt, but it's just don't do that. Like it's fine for fiction, and if that's people enjoy that and get off on it and things like that. But like very real world talk here. That's a really sensitive, delicate area. Be careful what you do with it. Don't be putting unwashed anythings up there, really. Like I said right at the top of this episode, gloves. I would always recommend gloves, just because, you wash your hands, but isn't it just nicer to have that extra barrier? But like, I know that not everybody feels that way, but that's my personal feeling on it. Condoms, again, for anal sex. Just from not so much from what you, if you are the penis owner or the penetrating partner, not so much for what you might get on your skin, but what's on your skin that could potentially be transferred to your partner via your fingers or your penis or anything else that you might be choosing to insert. You just got to be real careful.
Gut flora is like super sensitive. We know that so many medicines can screw it up, like
antibiotics, even
illnesses can screw it up, and it just like, and there's a lot of emerging medical research showing that unbalanced gut flora can have huge effects on like your brain and all kinds of stuff.
Really?
Absolutely. It's a really important thing to be careful with that. So be in real life, if not fic, because we do love our spontaneous dirty fucks against trees after a hunt. So sorry, Kasey.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just I spend it going, that's not what you do with that. It's like way back when the thing that prompted the very first episode of FVF was reading fics where people would use like blood as lube for anal sex, or cum, or in one very specific instance, water. And I was like, oh fuck, you can't do that. Fucking hell.
That, yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, no, let's dirty fuck against this tree. It's gonna be so hot. I'm like, it is hot, but I'm also going,
but I'm gonna be thinking about it the whole time.
Somebody is going to end up sick from this. Nobody is going to have a good time here. Just nobody. But that covers putting things in bums. And remember, don't put anything in somebody else's butt without proper, appropriate, and enough lubrication.
Mm-hmm.
You need more than you think you do. If you think you have enough lube, no, you don't. And also, don't put anything in anyone's butt without their explicit and firm consent. Don't put anything in anyone's anywhere without their explicit and firm consent. But it is the year 2024, and I am over. Oh, babe, I slipped. Fuck off. Don't do that. Don't do that. But that covers putting stuff in bums. Let's talk about mushing mouths with bums. That's the least sexy thing I could have said there. But I'm sorry.
I liked it.
I hate the word rimming. It really upsets me. I know what to tell you guys.
Oh, I know a word you hate worse.
Which word do I hate worse? I'm not going to enjoy
Analingus.
This. Yeah, I hate that one worse. Can we just have a fucking... Can we have a new name for that? Somebody invent a new name for eating ass. For me, please.
I love the term eating ass. I love that.
I don't mind that one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I don't mind eating ass. But yeah, eating ass, rimming, analingus, what eating someone out. But I feel like that applies more to assigned female at birth receiving oral sex. But still, yeah, go.
I don't know. Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right, you wrote rimming more than once, and I ain't reading it.
Rimming.
I don't like you.
Don't you love having friends? Having friends is great, especially when they know all your weaknesses.
Don't make me send you the creepy whale pictures, all right? Because I fucking will.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. If anybody wants the creepy whale pictures, please leave a message in the comments and I will furnish you with creepy whale pictures to freak out your friends when they say words that you hate. Oh my goodness. I'm going to find out what words you hate. There must be one. Find one.
Well, we started with smegma, didn't we? Like, I really was not.
Yeah, but you got over that real quick.
But
you got over that real quick.
But you know why I got over it? I got over it because I didn't realize it was the scientific, like, medical term for that. I thought it was just one of those. Yeah, I thought it was slang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now that I know it's the scientific term, I'm like, yeah, okay. That's just what it is.
Okay, well, analingus is the scientific term, and I fucking hate that. So, moving on. Put your mouth on an ass.
Okay.
And how to do it safely.
For rimming, obviously, you want a washed butt. A washed butt is the best butt to rim.
A washed butt is the best butt, period, frankly.
Unless you're into that, which, again, no yucking yums, but it's like you can't get past the fact that it's not hygienic. You don't want poop in your mouth, hygienically speaking. I mean, you've got, there's so much bacteria in poop, and you've got gut bacteria as well. There's STI risks. It's not hygienically, it's not what we're looking for.
We know that is a kink for some people, and we're not here to yuck anybody's yums.
That's right. That's why I'm like specifying hygienically speaking. It's just not what you're looking for.
Medically.
Yeah.
And if you choose to acknowledge those risks and go right ahead, that is completely fine. But it is remiss of us if we don't say there are significant medical risks to doing this. You are not a koala. You should not be consuming the bowel movements of another. Anything, not even your own. Not even your own. Really,
are there like dams or something that can be used?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a section for that.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Should we mention it here since we're in this sort of section?
No, I feel like it. No, I feel like it. No, we'll wait. We'll wait.
It's coming up next anyway.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
Yeah, but yeah, the thing about it is that every person has like their own gut bacteria, right? And every person's poop has that in it, and also the bacteria of whatever their system, their whole system, like, and the food that they're eating, and all of that sort of thing is.
It's a waste product for
mixing up inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It's something your body's getting rid of. You deal with your own gut bacteria, and usually that's fine. But with another person, it's a whole different story. It's far more likely to cause an issue and not mesh so well if it ends up in your system. So yeah,
you remember that time you ordered. Yeah, you remember that time you ordered a pizza from that dodgy looking place because it was 2 a.m. and you were pissed? And you spent the next 2 days praying to the porcelain gods and wishing you were dead. If you want to repeat that, go for your life.
Had someone's shit on it. To be quite honest, they didn't wash their hands properly. They did. They
possibly
dropped some food on the floor, and there was some rat shit on the floor. It's like it's literally that's how that happens.
If praying to the porcelain gods and wishing you were dead is something that you really, really crave in your life, be our guest. Go forth with knowledge, my friends. But for the rest of the people, these are things that can happen. Like,
I mean, that comes under RAC, risk-aware consensual kink.
Yep.
If you are aware and you're willing to take the risk and you are consenting, have at your kink.
Yep.
Yeah. So wash the butt, and that's wash it as deeply as you feel someone's tongue is going to get. So that means get your fingers inside. But use a bit of soap so that you've got some lubrication there, because you don't want to hurt yourself in cleaning. Yeah, just do the considerate thing for your partner, as always. I think that's all on.
Yeah, like we said before, starting with clean things, and then a conversation can be had about the level of cleanliness that everyone is happy with.
Yeah,
but start with clean and go from there. I think is probably
err on the side of cleanliness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the next bit is ass to vagina, or
vagina.
Ass to vagina.
That's upsetting. Why do I have so many words that upset me? I feel like I'm at a disadvantage. Yeah. Really, 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 really don't do this.
Yeah.
No.
Look, the vagina, as we discussed, has a really sensitive microbiome. It's the pH, it's all of that stuff. And introduce it, like, if you go either fingers in the anus or penis in the anus, or even mouth in the on the anus to the vagina, any of those to the vagina, you are going to introduce gut bacteria to the vagina, and that is going to be no bueno. No one's going to have a good time, or at least the vagina haver is not going to have a good time, and you want everyone to have a good freaking time. You're going to potentially have yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis, which is what causes the fish smell in the vagina and is an infection and can be cleared up easily enough with antibiotics, but doesn't mean you want an infection anyway.
Yeah, if you can avoid
UTIs,
one, why would you volunteer for one? Yeah.
Exactly. UTIs, obviously that's not inside the vagina, but it's in the area, and your mouth is going to be all over that area. So Kasey wanted to specify pelvic infections. Did you want to?
Yeah, no. So as I said earlier on, the sort of the assigned female at birth reproductive system is a closed. It's a very closed system. It's not open to the rest of your body in the same way that like your gut is, for example. So if you do get an infection in that area, it can actually, and it isn't treated properly, that can actually develop into like an infection in your pelvis. And that can be, extremely dangerous.
Pelvic inflammatory disease. That's what it is, isn't it? PID.
Yeah. That can be extremely dangerous. You can lose your reproductive system. It can have to be removed and things like that. Obviously, with any infection that's running in the body unchecked, you're looking at a risk of sepsis as well, which is obviously can be lethal. It's a closed system, and it's so easy to upset it. And I think people think especially for going like butt to vagina. Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And guys, it's not going to be fine. You know, at the very least, pelvic infections are incredibly painful. They're really debilitating. And if your fertility is something that is important to you, you don't want to mess around with it. You don't want to risk it. And even if, you know, like, even if your fertility is not that important to you in terms of, you know, maybe you're child-free, maybe you're somebody like me who is trans-masc and actually would really like to not have to deal with a female reproductive system, or even if you have had children and you're done having children and you're like, I don't want any more children, there are better and easier ways to deal with your reproductive system than getting a pelvic infection. Just don't. It's, you know, it's very, very dangerous. You really have to be careful with that, because it's just not meant to go that way. We teach young girls from a very early age how to wipe properly and things like that. Don't undo all that just for the sake of sex. You know, be careful.
Yeah. If you're using fingers or penis or toys, if you've used condoms, change condoms before going to the vagina. Wash your penis, wash your fingers, wash your toys before using them then on the vagina. Or if you haven't used condoms, use baby wipes on yourself, or do a quick wash if you can or if you want to, anything like that.
Again,
if you've
gloves,
used your mouth,
gloves or condoms,
anything like
of your
that.
fingers, you know, change them, take them off, whatever.
Yep.
Going front to back is fine. That's not really going to cause any issues. Going back to front is going to cause some issues.
That's
and you might get away with it once, 5 times, but it will catch up to you and you will not have a good time. You know, like
No,
I've yelled enough. I've yelled enough about not using enough lube and all the dangers that can come. You snap your banjo string, nobody's going to have a good time. Treat this with that same kind of severity. Just don't risk it, you know?
Yeah.
Just
I mean, we're
careful.
talking about your partner's health. Like it's not something to turn your nose up at. It's literally someone's health. So take it seriously.
Yeah.
And if you've used your mouth on the butt, you know, you've got to go and wash your mouth. You've got to go and, you know, brush your teeth, use mouthwash, something. Although if you are going to brush your teeth and it's not something, you haven't got a regular oral hygiene routine, you could end up causing small micro tears and stuff in your mouth, which, you know, is going to make you more susceptible to STIs and cause bleeding and stuff. So be careful with that.
Mouthwash is probably a friend.
Or even maybe
salt
even
water?
like gargle with salt water, that sort of thing. Just keep in mind the things we mentioned up in the oral hygiene section or the vaginal hygiene section. We've covered a few different things. Don't go ass to vagina. I wrote that sort of thing in my Sandman fix, and I only did that because it was a temporary vagina. So literally, in the words of Dean, you know, it's not going to be much of a big deal if he gets a yeast infection, because the vagina is going to be gone soon anyway. So
But spoken like a man who has never had a yeast infection.
Infection.
Yeah, that's very because also, like, I suppose this is probably not news, but men can also penis owners can also get yeast infections, but they're not as fucking bad. It presents differently, and it's not as they just get the better end of the deal. Is all I'm saying.
Don't they usually? Sorry, guys.
Sorry, assigned male at birth and male people. But yeah. Anyway.
Okay. So last one on this subject is ass to mouth via penis, fingers, or toys. So arguably, it's safer than rimming, because the person who's going to end up with that bacteria in their mouth is going to be the person whose bacteria it belongs to. So it's going to be the bacteria from the anus.
You're keeping the
bacteria from the anus is going to the mouth of the anus owner via
that'll do.
Transported by
of
the penis, fingers, or toys.
Yeah.
Thereby, as I wrote, thereby introducing their own bacteria to them.
Yeah. And your system's pretty prepared for that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I was saying in the rimming section, your body has already processed these germs. If you've got them in your gut, it's sort of like your immune system and all of that has sort of said, okay, I acknowledge you. You know, if it needs to fight anything off, it's done that. If it's going to make you sick, it's already done that. You can't, like, it's not impossible that it will flare something up. Far less likely than if you're introducing someone else's gut bacteria to your system. Having said that, this doesn't include STIs, and you can even reinfect yourself with your own STIs. Things like herpes. If you have herpes in the genital or anal area, and then someone's penis is in that area, in the genital or anal area, and then that is introduced to your mouth, you could end up with oral herpes, and that sort of thing. There are other STIs that can be both in the throat or mouth and in the genital area. So keep that in mind. Always use protection if you can. You know, change your condoms, wash everything between those things, unless you are in, say, a long-term relationship. You know your partner's status. As I think I've mentioned before, just do the safest things. But it's another one of those kink things. It is up to you. You've got to go into it knowing the risks. And again, you know, you're working with the butt. There's always the risk of poop. You take your own chances.
Yes,
but you know, sex is dirty. Sex is dirty. It's
a little bit gross. Just a little bit gross. But
I think
and we're not.
I think what
we're not
people
yucking
need
anyone's
to do
yum.
is we can present the risks, we can present the realities, but we also have to acknowledge that
it is your choice.
Yeah, it's your choice, and sometimes flouting the rules and doing the thing that is the not necessarily smartest choice is the way to have the most fun. So and that's kind of what we do a lot in FIC, which is, you know, exploring all those ways of being unsafe and making the bad choices and doing the dirty things. And that's the safest way to do it, I think. So I mean, I think that's probably part of why we get so many outrageous fics that do sanitize, because we don't have to think of all of that nonsense. Whereas in real life, you're confronted with it whether you want to think about it or not.
Yeah, real life is not fiction, and that is why this exists.
That's right.
But that does bring us to the end of the various types of hygiene that you might need to take into consideration. So just real quickly, we're just going to run through some STD/STI, depending on what you call it, information. So like Sandra mentioned, dams, dental dams, not really a thing in the UK. I know they're a bit more prevalent in the US.
And they are mostly actually a medical item. There is.
Oh, are they really?
I think, there are one or two brands, or possibly more these days, that make them as sex, like a product for use in sex. But mostly you will find them as a medical product.
For what purpose?
Just for your information. So literally dental dams, they put them in the mouth, cut out a small piece to expose, say, a tooth to do surgery on or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't have them to hand, which I don't even know where you would source them in the UK, it's just not a thing. You can use plastic wrap, cling film, shrink wrap, whatever it might be called in your particular country, but not the microwavable kind, not the microwave safe kind, because that is porous and that defeats the whole purpose of using it.
The point is that it's water,
a barrier.
It's a fluid barrier. Yes. That is how it is. it works.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's a flexible, fluid, impervious barrier between you and the other person that enables you to do whatever you want to do with your mouth without directly touching the other person. So just
oral sex,
check,
rimming, whatever.
Yeah, but just check your cling film or shrink wrap or whatever you call it. Again, they're only going to protect from fluid transfer, STDs, STIs. I think they've been renamed to STIs, but I grew up with STDs. I didn't think that sentence before I came out of my mouth. I grew up learning the term STD, so I'm sticking with it. All right.
And can I just say before you move on, I did read that a little bit of lubrication between, like, on the genitals or anus before you put down the dental dam or the plastic wrap helps make it better. Yeah. Pro tip.
Good. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. But it only helps with fluid transfer, STDs, not skin contact. STDs. Condoms, again, fluid transfer, not skin transfer. So things like chlamydia, gonorrhea, HIV, hepatitis B, that sort of stuff is protected by correct condom use. If you're not using your condoms correctly, you run your own risk here, friend. So check the packaging or wherever the fuck you get condom instructions for. As we discussed, this is not my area of expertise. I don't know. But they don't protect against skin contact transfer, so HPV, herpes, genital warts, Mpox, which you may be more familiar with as monkeypox, which is a disgusting name for anything. It was renamed to Mpox, but that is primarily transferred. Well, no, that can be transferred through many methods, but sexual contact is one of them. But you would have caught it far before you got to sexual contact with somebody if you were going to catch it, because it can be transmitted through, like, breathing and speaking. So, pubic lice as well. So some STDs count as skin contact and fluid transfer. So, like, herpes, things like that can be both. So just be aware what kind of contraception you're using and what you're needing to protect against. You should not partake in any sexual activity if you are having an active flare-up of herpes or genital warts. You should be aware of your status and, take precautions as needed.
Everything else we've said is basically a moot point. If you've got a flare-up, it doesn't matter. None of the hygiene matters. You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just too high risk that you're going to transfer something. Because, I mean, you can have as many condoms or dental dams as you want, but you're going to be mashing your groins together, your inner thighs together, your butt cheeks together, and some of those STIs, they're not just going to stay on, say, the labia or the penis itself. It's you need to be super careful.
Yeah. So just focusing specifically on HIV, because I think that's the kind of the big scary one when you especially when you're talking about anal sex as well. So where we are at now currently with modern medicine is that it is possible for someone to have an HIV positive status and have an undetectable virus load, which means that it is not present in their body. That is not to say that it has gone away, but it is sufficiently suppressed with medication.
Not detectable. U equals U, which means undetectable equals untransferable. And that is the goal of anyone who's taking those medicines and, getting treatment for all of that.
Yes. Now, me and Dreamer, we're not at odds here specifically, but we're coming at this from slightly different places. So I'm going to cover both points, which is as a member of the queer community, I am remiss. I cannot disregard my community's history. We lost too many fucking people after the AIDS crisis. All right. So I can't sit here and say to you guys, oh no, it's fine. There are medications you can take that diminish your viral load. It's totally fine. We cannot go back to a place where people are out here having unprotected. And while heterosexual couples can contract and spread HIV, it is easier to spread through anal sex purely because of the delicate nature of the anus, the rectum. Micro tears can happen no matter how well prepared a person is, no matter how much lube you use, no matter how much prep happens. Micro tears can still happen, and it just takes just a little bit, just a little bit contact if the person's viral load is detectable, and that's it, So I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, it's totally fine, guys. Just go and
But don't underestimate that it's still super easy to pass it on through penis and vagina sex, because you can get micro tears and all kinds of things. The vaginal canal is super sensitive as well. So just saying.
So, it is important to know your partner's status, whether you are, in any kind of couple. You should know each other's sexual health status. And if you are somebody, if your partner is HIV positive, you should be taking the necessary precautions. But that is individual to each person,
I've grown up since I was like, must have been 10 or so, with a really close family friend who contracted HIV through a blood transfusion as a child, having haemophilia. And he has lived with the stigma of HIV his entire life. He's over 50 now, and he never imagined he would, live to adulthood, let alone middle age. But the stigma of having HIV is still so strong. Like people, and having a relationship as someone with HIV, it can be next to impossible to breach that stigma of someone thinking you are dirty, or that they are going to catch HIV just by being in a room with you when you sneeze. By, you just like, it's yes, there are incredible risks with certain activities, but it is not actually as easy to catch or transfer HIV as some people believe or want you to believe. Like,
as I said, one of the main reasons that when it was first discovered, it was touted as the gay disease is just because, as I said, because of the nature of anal sex, there is an increased risk there. But like, you've never been able to catch HIV by just touching someone who is HIV positive. That has never been a thing. And I'm not here to perpetuate that stigma around HIV positive people. It is disgusting. I don't want to see anybody,
people relax
certainly not
too much. I get that.
My community go, oh, it's fine. And we lost so many. The reason that there should be thousands, millions more middle-aged men than there are, because we lost them, because we didn't know, So I owe it to myself, I owe it to my community to remind people to be vigilant and be safe.
Of course.
But that is not, I am not here to perpetuate the stereotype and the stigma that there is anything wrong with being HIV positive, that you are in any way dirty or unclean, or that is bullshit. It is an illness like any other illness. You just have to be a bit more careful when it comes to sexual activity. That is it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
But specifically, anal sex, as we discussed, micro tears, things like that. It's actually quite difficult to contract HIV through oral sex, although you take whatever precautions you feel most comfortable with. If
you're not going to get HIV through kissing.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No, it is a blood.
No matter how much spit you swap. Yeah.
Yeah. It needs blood contact. There has to be, that's the nature of the thing. But if you are HIV positive and you just feel more comfortable wearing a condom when a partner performs oral sex on you, then that's totally fine. If you are, if you're not HIV positive, but you just feel more comfortable with a partner wearing a condom when you give oral sex, even if it's just from a hygiene perspective, fucking go for it, But it is actually quite difficult to contract or HIV through oral sex, but it is not impossible. So just
even
be
and
aware.
I would just add on to that. Even if a person with HIV did ejaculate in a partner's mouth, it's still quite unlikely to transfer HIV, because the mouth and the stomach is not like a super conducive environment
Friendly environment
to that. Yeah. But you do have to keep in mind open wounds, micro tears, that sort of thing. And we like Kasey was saying, we don't want people to relax too much, but we don't want to perpetuate the idea that just being around someone or engaging in, some heavy petting with them is going to transfer it. That, people trying to like people with HIV trying to date are, tricking their potential partners by not disclosing in the first 5 minutes of meeting them, and then being rejected in disgusting ways that are, degrading and just dehumanizing, because that is incredibly common, and it's incredibly hard to see. But we always want people to be safe, but we also want to destigmatize, because both of those things are really important.
Yeah. So it's, neither one of us is a little from column A, a little from column B.
Exactly,
I am 1000% here to break that stigma. It is an illness like any other illness, and you just do what you need to do to manage it,
And I'm 1000% here for people to be safe with sex, and, just so much, respect for the people who brought HIV and AIDS out of the stigma that it did have back in the 80s, and, made it something that we can talk about now, and something that could be researched and brought to the point where people can just take medicine and be U equals U, and
and that is incredible.
We're destigmatized. It's incredible. Like my friend does have that, and it's just, he would never have imagined being able to say that, and it's been life-changing for him. He's got it's amazing, and like full respect. And
like, obviously one of the most famous, well, I suppose in my circles, maybe not in other people's circles, but Freddie Mercury famously passed away from AIDS, and that was only 30 years ago. Freddie Mercury passed away in 1991. That was the same year I was born.
Yeah.
So here we are 33 years later, and there are people walking around that do have an HIV positive status, that with an undetectable viral load, and that is amazing, but just be safe. That's all I'm saying. There's no fucking stigma around it. It's not dirty or unclean. There's nothing wrong with anybody that has a positive status. Just be aware, just treat it like you would chlamydia. Just be like, well, I'm just going to be safe. I don't know this person's status, so let's just wrap it up, And actually, while we're on the topic of that, just to lighten the load, if you think that like chlamydia is just a course of antibiotics and that's cool, you can get it in your eyeball. If someone comes on your face, it is a little bit funny. If you get the clap in your eye, but no, if your partner has chlamydia and they
hang on, the clap is gonorrhea, I think. Hang on.
Oh, it's both. It's interchangeable over here. I think you can get gonorrhea in your eyeball as well.
Yeah, the clap is gonorrhea. It's not interchangeable. They're different things. Yeah.
No, it's interchangeable.
I remember but they're different things.
Yeah, no, I know gonorrhea and chlamydia are different things, but the clap, the slang term for it, is interchangeable over here. Not the infections. But yeah, no, if somebody ejaculates on your face and they have chlamydia and it gets into your eyeball, you can get it in your eyeball. You can also get chlamydia in your mouth or your throat, and you can get gonorrhea in your mouth and your throat as well. So just be careful if you don't know the sexual health status of your partner. Take precautions. That's all.
And don't be afraid to ask them what their status is.
And don't be afraid to insist on things for your comfort. Even if they have a clean bill of health, if you are more comfortable using condoms, fucking use them. If you prefer to use condoms for oral sex, use them. You don't need,
and if they're not willing to have a reason, that,
fuck them, kick them out.
Yep,
no
absolutely.
Pussy for you. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
No butt for you.
No bum for you. Right.
Yeah.
So we have now come to the end of the class. So additional reading materials for y'all.
Yes.
So we got
Excellent reading materials.
We got some fic recs here. Now, this fic was actually wrecked right at the very start in the first episode of FVF, and I held on to it for this episode. So
By me.
yeah, it was you. I held on to it for this episode because I knew I was going to do a hygiene episode, and I was like, this one's great. So it is Alcohol and a Can-Do Attitude by Blind Swan Dive. And this delves into, like, it's not particularly detailed, but it does, like, you know, mention going to the bathroom before anal sex, you know, what you might deal with if someone has not cleaned, like, and again, like, it's not necessary, as we said, but, you know, if you don't choose not to do an enema, there could be poop. And this kind of deals with this, gloves as well, you know.
Is this the curse one where Sam and Dean have to help each other out? Okay,
Het Sam and Dean who have to, who fuck or die, and they're just like, oh, fucking fine, whatever.
It's not romantic Wincest. It's
because I think Dean mentions Lisa or whatever. And stuff like that.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's
pegging,
it.
mention of pegging.
It's
mutual non-con or dub-con. I mean, intrinsically it's non-con because they wouldn't be having sex otherwise, but they accept that they have to have sex to not die.
It's fuck or die.
They take it they take it in, you know, this spirit of, well, you know, we've got to do it, whatever.
Got to do it. But
it's so funny.
It touches on various different facets of hygiene and things like that, and also like how you could make anal sex more comfortable, as Dreamer mentioned, you know, bearing down during initial penetration and things like that.
And how it feels for someone experiencing that for the first time.
Yes. It's honestly, it's excellent. You should go read it. Even if you don't need any information about this, go read it anyway. It's great. And remember to leave,
for sure.
I like it. Yeah.
Leave Blind Swan Dive some love.
Absolutely.
I keep sneaking this one into episodes, and then I never tell Sandra that I'm going to do it. But it's Factory Reset by Sandra.
Yes, I suggested that one too. Like, I mean, I gave my extra encouragement for that one.
Yes. I use this fic for fucking everything. It is literally, if there's like a holy book of FVF, if there's a how to do it fucking right, it's Factory Reset. It's all there.
Well,
and
it's
again,
all because of you, Kasey, because you're the one that, like, you know, we started talking about stuff and then, like, you know, answering questions, different things like that. So yeah,
I will cry.
Yeah,
it is.
But it is very good.
But it is fucking excellent. I will take begrudgingly 12% of the credit.
That's the one. Yeah, it is 12%.
12% of the credit. But if you're not familiar with Factory Reset, where have you been? First of all. But again, it's not super detailed. Oh, fucking words. It's not super detailed, but it doesn't shy away from the messier parts of sex. They are acknowledged, and while they are not portrayed, you know, they are acknowledged and dealt with.
I love the acceptance of it. It's like, if there's going to be a mess, there's going to be a mess.
Well, I like the fact that if they're hunters, you know, they're kind of already used to it, but it's like, you know, it's nice to know that it's
comforting. Yeah. I think that's
it's super comforting. Yeah.
I wrote a little essay beforehand as well. So, you know, my little essay and my thoughts on it are in that. If you want to read it, it's on AO3. So give it a look. See. But yes, all thanks to Kasey and Dandelion Dreaming for a pegging scene that also was a lot of inspiration. I think would be a good way of saying that. Yes.
Pegging pegging trilogy. I like that.
Trilogy. Yes. I also have a pegging fic that just very, very briefly touches on Dean. Just, it's so brief, just asking for the shower privately beforehand to clean up, and that's it. That's it's so brief. But Sandra's is, again, not messy and not in depth, but just acknowledged and just being like, we'll just put a towel down, and if there's mess, and I'm not bothered about it. But also that fic focuses on, you know, sort of going from having no anal experience to Dean experimenting with himself, and it's just the fucking tits, guys. It's so good. You should read it and then read it again and leave Sandra kudos and comments. It's the fucking bomb.
Definitely.
And then two new ones. So we have It Feels Like the First Time by Amelia Careful, and this is
So good.
It's Wincest, and it is so. This one is it's just Dean's first time bottoming, and the only thing that we see is it's quite a short fic. Is Sam just fingering Dean, and we go through all the experiences with Dean and how that feels and how Sam makes him comfortable and what Sam does to prepare and lube usage and things like that. And one of my favorite things about this is that this author, Amelia Careful, actually writes genfics. They are not really here for the smut, but they had seen enough fics that didn't address these things that they were like, oh, well, I will fucking address it then. I will address it. And they have written this beautiful fic that is
so good.
So good. And again, lovely and realistic without, you can go too far and then the mess becomes a kink in of itself.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's just realistic,
It's so beautiful too.
Again, we're looking at, how that kind of penetration feels for somebody that's never experienced it before and things like that. So again, go read it. Leave Amelia Careful some love. Tell them Idling in the Impala sent you. And the same for Blind Swan Dive. You probably don't need to tell Sandra that Idling in the Impala sent you there, though. But you can. We love to get comments. We love to get comments that say,
finding
"Hey,
that out. That's great. I've had that.
Came from yeah. We do love getting comments that you're like, hey, I found you from the podcast and things like that. So, and a last minute entry. Literally, this came in at the 11th hour.
Yes, I didn't see this one. Because I posted on the one by Amelia Careful came through Kasey.
That came from on Discord.
Was it Wincest Book Club? Yeah, posting for a shout out if anyone had any fic recs for the recording of this episode. And that's the one Kasey got. I posted on Tumblr. And unfortunately, this is the only rec that I got. And it came in like half an hour before recording. So I didn't have a chance to read it.
Okay.
But thank you to, pardon the no doubt wrong pronunciation, MXTansy, MXTANSY on Tumblr. Appreciate that.
We appreciate that. And actually, shout out to Digital Meow Mix, who is the one that sent me It Feels Like the First Time through the Wincest Book Club. So we're not going to, we don't want to leave anybody out here. But the 11th hour fic is How Jean Winchester Got a Shower Fetish, which is chef's kiss. It's by Justine Delarge, who I have definitely kind of repped on this podcast before. And it features, Sam prepping for anal sex, and it's very focused on how much they both enjoy Sam being clean and ready, and how sexy it is, how sexy Dean finds it to know that Sam is getting ready and cleaning up and things like that. And it's
nice.
It's very again, it's realistic, but not, it doesn't go so far that it becomes a kink within its own right. So it's realistic, but not very detailed. But it is again, and that It Feels Like the First Time and How Dean Winchester Got a Shower Fetish both feature enemas and actually different ways of administering enemas. So that's worth looking into as well. And of course, there is a multitude of fics out there that feature enema administration as a kink thing in of itself, for humiliation or for punishment or just as a sex act in of itself, not necessarily for humiliation or punishment, but just the enema administration is the sex act,
like belly bulge and stuff like that, as
a form of foreplay. And the water bits in there and it has to go somewhere, and things like that. But what we wanted for this was really quite normalized, like this is something that you can choose to do in preparation for anal sex, and it's totally normal and it's totally fine. And so there's a multitude of stuff out there, but these are the ones that focused on the things we wanted to focus on.
Yeah. And I wish there had been more recs, because I know there are so many out there that that touch on the subject, whether it's like the mechanical issues of hygiene or like the actual discussion of it. I was mentioning it earlier, but then figured I'd save it for the fic rec section. Like, because I love the explicit discussion of talking about whether like the actual prep itself, the hygiene prep itself, or the insecurities surrounding what, you know, having that sort of sex for the first time, or, you know, what might happen like if they don't know how that all works and all of that sort of stuff. But I know they exist out there, and I wish I could remember.
To us. Send them to us.
Yes,
if you find them, please send them to us.
Me.
Send them to us. Yes.
Oh gosh. Yeah, anywhere, and Kasey will send them forward to me.
Yes, email them to us. Hit us up on Tumblr. We'll get them where they need to go.
Sure.
Whether you send them to us personally or you send them
please, yes.
to the idling in the Impala various things. So those are the they're not assigned reading, but extra reading, if you will. And normally at this point, I would run through the references and the sources that we have used, but there's fucking loads of them, right? So
it's going to be added in the description, the link to the
we're going to link to the document in the description because there's a lot of different details in here, and there's a lot of medical things. So we've just provided you with as much information as we can, and obviously you go and peruse at your leisure. So there's comments with links in them, and then there's reference links at the bottom as well. So just go and we should all right, so we should probably wrap this up. Thank you for staying with us. We appreciate this was an extended edition. I don't know how much how long this is gonna come out in the edit. That's in Sandra's wonderful hands.
And you can't even blame me for that, because sometimes you guys just do this.
We're not. Nobody's getting blamed for anything. It's an important subject, and there's lots of things to touch on.
Yeah.
So
this is fine.
No, before we say goodbye, Dreamer, do you want to tell the people where they can find you? I know you weren't expecting this. I'm sorry, but me and Sandra just go links in the description. But your links are not in the description.
Well, I can add them too. I can make sure I add.
Make her say them.
No, she can. She can say them, but I'll also add them. I'll also add them in the description.
That's cool. I've never had to say anything like that before. Okay, well, you can find me on AO3 at Runaway Dreamer. That's with a 3 in place of the E in Dreamer. DR3 AMER. That's a little complicated, but there you go. And I'm on Tumblr these days. I just joined after 5,000 years. I finally got on the bandwagon earlier this year, and the username is slightly different because I took so long. Someone else had the Runaway Dreamer username. It's Runaway Dreamer with the 3 again. So it's Runaway Dreamer AO3. So yeah, that one might have to be written down, Sandra.
No, I've got it. I'll just copy it. Yeah, because I've got you. Cool. I've got you friended, so I'll just copy it and
links in the description.
And hit me up on Tumblr. I'm always happy to have someone else to say hello to on there, and that's cool. And also join us on the Discord. We love people on the Discord.
Dreamer is in the Discord quite frequently, so you can come and have a chat with her in real time as well.
Please.
But I
need more things to waste my time on.
What are you doing? And why is it that? We got through this whole episode with no cat, and now there's cats and chaos. So everybody say hi, Jinx.
Hi,
while he just goes, "Oh, you big ham." He's switching between being an enormous big ham and saying, "Mom, it's hot," and just being a menace.
Yeah, it's 95 degrees here.
Like that. How hot is it here?
Got the shades down, everything. There's no light in this room because I'm like, I don't want any heat coming in. Is this room too
well, I'm the odd one out then, because it's winter here. And let me check what the temperature is.
It's 21 degrees here. So that's...
it's not too bad. So it's 3.2 degrees Celsius. feels like minus 1.1 degrees
It's
Celsius.
fucking cold, mate.
It's been worse.
Well, yeah, that is true. That is true. So, brief interlude for cat and weather. We should wrap this up, Sandra.
We should, but the one other thing I wanted to say was,
I'm sorry.
I think that we need to get some consensus as what should Dreamer's assistant title to the agent of chaos in Kink be, because I have a feeling we're probably going to have Dreamer back on more of these FEFs. So I think that,
I would love to come back.
A proper title is in order. So we need to get some ideas. So let us know. But yes, definitely. Thank you, Dreamer. Thank you for.
I was going to say thank you so much for
Kasey
letting me
be
involved in this. It was lovely.
Yeah, no, because it would have just been me listening to Kasey again. So this is wonderful. This is wonderful. It's wonderful.
Which I know you hate.
That's
why you keep doing these things.
Y'all are going to give me a fucking complex.
So good.
No, but the thing is that was really kind of the initial premise of it was, Kasey's got the knowledge or the willingness to do the research.
Yeah.
Sandra loves her internet history.
That I didn't want to look up. And Kasey was like, no, I'll do it. And then this is where we are. So I think it's a great expression, and it's an understanding of everybody's got their way to express their sexuality. It can be all sorts of different ways. Your kink is not my kink. Don't yuck anybody's yum. But still, when it gets down to the bare bones of it, sometimes we're just reading fiction and going, but wait,
you can't use water as lube. Somebody will end up bleeding.
I like that it's
that we have to agree on whether it's reality or fiction.
Yeah, I like that it's become this thing too, and I think a lot of our listeners enjoy it as well. So yes, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you to Kasey. Thank you to Dreamer for doing all the things, for creating this document that you will get to access if you so choose in the description. So let us know what you thought of the episode. Email us at idlinginttheimpala@gmail.com. Comment on Spotify in the Q&A section. Leave a YouTube comment. Join our Discord and chat with fellow idlers, including Dreamer and us in real time. Check out our merch store, which is another fun way to show your support. You can find details for everything on our website, idlinginttheimpala.com. Really, if you have not gone there yet, go there. That's kind of where we're going to make the hub for everything so that you know where to get whatever it is you want to get. If you want to fuel our supernatural road trip, consider joining us on Ko-fi for as little as $1 a month. We have perks to go along with different membership tiers and would love to have you along for the ride. You're probably going to get to hear some outtakes as well from this if you're one of our Ko-fi members. So it might be another reason you might want to do that.
Lord help you.
Yes, Lord help you. But go ahead, Kasey.
Yeah. Hey, the outtakes are the best bit. All my best bits get cut, but then they get released as outtakes afterwards. Don't forget, though, you can always support us for free by liking, commenting, and subscribing on YouTube, and following, rating, and sharing on audio platforms. Engagement like that really helps us with the algorithms. All hail their benevolence. As always, we have the causes that we support in the description. So from me, you have LGBTQ plus talking charities. From Sandra, you have mental health charities. There is also US election info in the description. Keep yourself informed and up to date as November closes in. Remember, it's a jump to the left, not a step to the right, to bastardize the Rocky Horror Picture Show and the Tenacious D cover of Time Warp. And actually, I'm going to steal from one of our listeners and good friends, BJ, who every so often I see them reblog on Tumblr, vote blue to reduce the fucking body count, because that's really what it's come down to at this point. But as always, the main causes that we are championing, highlighting, spotlighting, any other adjective that means drawing attention to, is World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders. Both of these charities are on the ground working in the Ukraine to help those still affected by Russia's unlawful invasion of the Ukraine, and in Gaza, which is in the crossfire of the war between Israel and Hamas. This is not political. It does not matter which side of these issues you stand on. We are coming from a purely humanitarian view here. There are people in the Ukraine and Gaza that are trapped. They're cut off from basic human rights like food, water, and shelter, and they're dying. They didn't ask for war, and we want to help the people risking their lives to help them. If you cannot or do not want to donate financially, that's absolutely fine. Just sharing links around social media helps massively to keep these issues in the public eye and get the people in need all the help we can. So with that, we will say thank you to Dreamer for joining. Thank you for helping me out. Thank you for kicking my ass into gear to actually get this done, because if I'd had to do this on my own, we would have waited till doomsday. So thank you for all your help and your support with this and with all other things as well. Thank you, Sandra, for being
absolute pleasure.
of being an absolute willing audience for my fucking nonsense consistently. And thanks to you for joining us in the back seat. So we will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.